dreamer, the fighter, the struggler, the one who's trying to figure it all out. God is watching you, waking up to the sound of an alarm that feels like an enemy, dragging yourself out of bed when all you want is just 5 more minutes. God sees you making your morning coffee, hoping it'll fuel not just your body but also your spirit. You may think your efforts go unnoticed. You may feel like no one's watching, and that's true. Most people won't see the struggles, the sacrifices, the quiet moments when you choose to show up, even though you feel like disappearing. But God is watching. He sees every tear, every prayer, every tiny victory that seems so insignificant to the world, but means everything to you. You might think the real challenge is tomorrow, next month, or next year. When things settle down, when you get that job, when you lose those pounds, when everything is perfect. But the battle isn't someday. The battle is today, right now, in this moment. It's that moment when you feel like giving up, when you don't feel ready, when the world seems like it's moving faster than you ever can. That's the battle, and you win every time you show up. Success isn't this gigantic mountain you climb in a single leap. It's the small steps, the quiet victories. It's being present, even when it's easier to stay in the shadows. It's knowing that showing up doesn't mean showing up perfectly. It means showing up as you are, flawed, uncertain. But here, you don't need to have all the answers. You just need to take that one step, because sometimes showing up is the bravest thing you can do. We live in a world obsessed with perfection, flawless lives, perfect careers, and instant success. But life isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. God didn't put you here to be perfect. He put you here to try, to learn, to grow, and to keep showing up no matter how many times you fall. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to be the best at everything you do. All you need is the courage to show up as you are. Imperfect, struggling, but trying. And that is more than enough. Because every time you show up, you honor the life God has given you. Success isn't reserved for the most talented, the smartest, or the ones who have it all together. It's for those who show up day after day, even when the odds are stacked against them. It's for those who keep going when it feels like they're moving through mud. It's for those who keep the faith, even when it's hard to see what's ahead. God doesn't ask for perfection. He asks for faithfulness. He sees your heart. He knows your struggles. And every time you show up, especially when you don't feel like it, you're showing God that you trust Him, that you believe He has a plan, even if you don't understand it right now. Tough times, the hard ones, the days when you don't have the strength to keep going, the days when life feels overwhelming, and you're not sure you can take another step, when every step forward feels like 3 steps back. Those are the days that matter the most. Those are the holy days. The days when God is working on you, shaping you, refining you. It's easy to show up when everything is going well, but what about showing up on the hard days? That's where your character is built. That's where your faith grows. And that's where God meets you. He sees you trying. He sees you pushing through the pain, the doubt, and the fear. And every time you show up, you're telling to Him that He was right. You train your mind to keep going, even when your heart isn't in it. And every time you do that, you grow a little bit tougher, a little bit wiser, and a whole lot closer to where you want to be. Nobody's watching you all the time. There's no audience, no applause. Sometimes it feels like no one cares. But you're not doing it for people. You're doing it for you. For that future version of yourself who will look back and thank you for showing up when it was hard. Don't wait for someone to notice your efforts. Don't wait for a pat on the back or a word of encouragement. Show up for yourself, because you are worth showing up for. Change the narrative. It's not, I have to work out. It's, I get to move my body. It's not, I have to work. It's, I get to create, to provide, to contribute. It's not, I have to show up. It's, I get to grow, to learn, to be better than I was yesterday. When you see every day as an opportunity instead of an obligation, showing up doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like a gift. A chance to prove to yourself that you are not your failures, your fears, or your fatigue. You are stronger than that. You are here. Every time you show up, you're building your future, brick by brick. It might not look like much now, but every effort counts. Every minute you invest in yourself, in your dreams, in becoming a little better than you were yesterday, it all adds up. Remember, your future isn't something that just happens to you. It's something you create every single day, and it starts with showing up. It's easy to celebrate the big wins, but let's start celebrating the daily victories. Waking up early, choosing the apple over the donut, finishing the project, picking yourself up after a setback. These are the moments that define you. These are the moments that matter. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present. Be proud of showing up, even when it's messy, even when it's imperfect, even when it's tough. You don't have to move mountains today. Just take a step, answer that email, make that call, go for that run, open that book. It's not about the size of the action, it's about the action itself. It's not about doing something extraordinary every day. It's about doing something. Every time you show up, you say to the world, I'm still here, I'm still fighting, I'm still trying.